about networking. So at this point, I think it's pretty clear that networking is important. It's not what we know, it's who you know. And networking is not really just about job finding and career and business. It's really just about information sharing and relationship building. All the things like career and jobs are not the end goals. They're the additional things that come along the way. And networking is really a lifestyle. You don't have to be at networking events to network. You don't have to dress up. You can do it anywhere, any place. But not everyone thinks that way. So Tony, people like Tony, they hate networking. And Tony is not the only one. So this is a survey response I did last year. You can tell that it's really negative. It's overwhelmingly negative. Just to name a few: hard, useless, hopeless. Which this leads to my first insight of research, which is people have a negative perception of what networking really is. People associate that with using people as tools, being cruel in this world. And the second insight is that people lack practice. So a lot of networking advisors, they think that it's critical for people to practice in order to build their networking skills. But currently, people don't do it because, first of all, they don't know that they need to, and secondly, they don't know how. And we shouldn't really blame people because if you look at the current ways in which people can improve or practice their networking, it's really not that efficient. It's time-consuming, it's expensive. There are like books, online tutorials, videos, workshops, conferences. But most importantly, it's because people have a negative perception and they don't think it's necessary to practice. They don't even try. They don't have the motivation. So I want to help them. I want to help people like Tony. So by doing more research, I learned that these are the three things that people mostly care about. So convenience. So these people are either students or young professionals or people in that transition. So they really don't have that much of time. They want something like quick and easy, like a snap in and out. So contextual. So a lot of people do read like blogs and watch videos online, but it's hard for them to take that knowledge, to transfer that knowledge to what really happens in networking events. And riskless, so this is interesting. So a lot of networking advisors say that you should just go to those events, just practice your reality. But what happens is that we're human, right? We make mistakes. And when we do, we get discouraged. And when that happens again and again, we just give up. We just don't want to do it anymore. So I started off by brainstorming a lot of ideas around those three things. And then I think that I realized that those solutions sort of fall under each of these three phases. I was trying to tackle all of these. But then soon I realized that it's not feasible because a lot of things that I want to try to address during the networking events will make people look like this, which is not what we want. So a quote from an event organizer says that if you're doing this, you're sending a signal that I'm not so good. I don't want to talk to you. Don't talk to me. Which is definitely not what we want. So here, I learned that the solution, whatever that is, has to be invisible during networking events. So how do we do that? How do we? It's kind of like bringing a cheat sheet to an exam. How do you bring a cheat sheet without looking at it? Right? And so here I made a conscious decision that I will focus on the pre-networking phase, so that provide people ways to practice, so that they can have that knowledge without even looking at any cheat sheet. So this is a big decision. There's actually a product design principle I learned in the Silicon Valley design community, which is the hammering principle. This means that you can't be known for everything. You cannot say we're good at this, 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 and this. People just will not understand. People will not care. You have to find that one thing you're good at and then use the hammer to hammer it down again and again. So in this case, the solution here is a game-based simulation where people can just go and practice networking with a virtual character. So in this case, the coach or person will respond differently based on what you choose, what you input. So in this case, if you say, oh, I want to talk to you, and the coach is going to say, that's very rude, try again. So I tested an early prototype. What I learned is that, so people use it more often, find it more useful, but not a lot of people use it. So in talking with them, digging deeper, I realized that is really the engagement issue. So people don't think about the app. It doesn't come up in their mind, and they don't have a reason to come back. So how do you address that? That's the ultimate goal for this product, which is address that engagement issue. So I took a step back. I look at the whole ecosystem, and I realized that this solution doesn't incorporate a lot of different stakeholders. So like it doesn't involve event organizers, it doesn't involve guest speakers or mentors at those networking events. I also look at the engagement framework. So this basically says that when you have a trigger to do something, and when you do that, in order to move on to the next phase, which is investment, people need some reward to help them move on to the next phase, so that they can complete the loop and then change the behavior. So based on this, I brainstormed around how you address the engagement issue. So some of the ideas, so first of all, I came up with the idea of levels. So there are different levels in the game, so that it gives people a clear idea of what to expect, and then show them that exciting things are happening here, creating that excitement. And also the idea of having stars for each level. So if you played with Candy Crush, you may be familiar with the model where if you do it perfectly, you get 3 stars. If you say something wrong for once, then you lose a star. So that's another way to keep people coming back, because people have this tendency to play over stars. And the other thing is I introduced the section of reward. So when you finish the level, you get points. And you can use those points to unlock these rewards. So for example, some rewards may include guest profile. So that might be LinkedIn profile or resume of those speakers on, during those events. And you may have the opportunity to chat with those speakers for even further conversational contact. So this leads to the whole ecosystem and business model of this solution. So when an event organizer creates an event, either on Eventbrite or Meetup, they can opt into this service. And then when people sign up for this event, they can download the app, they can practice, they can get points, and then they can use those points to reach out to the mentors and speakers. And mentor speakers will give them the advice and suggestions. So in return, they can expand their networking and connections. And then, of course, people can get more help and practice their networking. And the event organizer can get more traction. Hopefully, they can get more people sign up for the event. And then these third-party services can get more traffic on their site and get more conversion. So just to take a step back, it's convenient, it's contextual, there's no risk, it's invisible, and it's engaging. So I tested the final prototype as well as the ecosystem. So I made some iteration based on that. So one thing I did is I added more characters. So that's one way to make the coach stand out. So originally there was only one coach and talking to you all the time, which people feel like it's a little repetitive. So in this way, people will know, oh, when the coach comes up, I know that he's going to tell me something important, so I'll pay attention. So the other thing is the complexity of the game. So we know the difficulty of the game is it's very tricky. It's actually a whole new different discipline. I should reach out to a game design professor in York University. So I learned that in this case, it's not a commercial game. It's not like Call of Duty. We're not trying to make people stuck on the same level for a long time so that they can play again and again. And it's also not the same with like educational game or like quiz at school, because in that case, people already learned that knowledge in class or beforehand. But in this case, we're trying to teach people something during the game. So it's important to make the right answer stand out. So in this case, let me stop you right there, or choosing perspective. Oh, and wait a call. It's kind of obvious which answer is right. Which I think in this way we can plant a seed in people's subconscious, and in their mind, so that they can know what's the best practice, what's the best thing to say, and expand upon that based on their own knowledge and experience. So I see this solution as a vision, as a path, as different possibilities. So there are a lot of different ways that we can improve. So for example, downloadable extension pack. So those would be like networking for doctors, networking for engineers. So customization. So people have different personalities. So extrovert people may need something different than introvert people. So we can tailor to that. And of course, the content of the game can be crowdsourced by the community, or we can invite expert editors like game designers So with that, I want to say thank you to everyone who helped me throughout the process, all the faculty, the mentor, and everyone. It's been a great journey with DEI.